happy to win the game. And, like every game that you play, I mean, there's obviously, we're so young and kind of inexperienced that you never know who's going to show up at the beginning of the game. And you'd like to have got off to a little bit better start defensively than what we did. And offensively, the first possession, going into the game, one of the things that we talked about during the course of the week was, teams like Rice, and I told Mike this before the game and I told it after the game. I have great respect for him and his coaching staff because his kids, there was not one game that we watched that they didn't play their butt off. They played hard. I told AJ during the week, I told it on some of the media stuff that we talked about, that you better show up and you better play. Wounded animals are dangerous people, and especially with the new coaching staff that's trying to set a culture and environment, and they played hard, and they did again tonight. I mean, they showed up and they played as hard as they could possibly play. And I told our players, I said, one of the things that they're going to try to do is they're going to try to milk the clock, and minimize the opportunities. We've been explosive. We've had a lot of big plays and stuff like that, and if we get 6 or 7 possessions per half, we may put some points on the board. Well, in the first half, we got the ball 4 times, and we kind of self-inflicted ourselves on the first drive, got no points on that, ended up getting a field goal, then got 2 touchdowns, and it was critical to get some points on the board. When you only get 4 possessions and you score 3 of the 4, you better not waste those possessions and opportunities. I know that they had some issues and some troubles because of the injuries at the quarterback position, and that in and of itself led to, the number of times they wanted to try to run the ball. Trying to pack the box gives you a little bit of an opportunity where they hit some passes in the flats and stuff. We felt like if we could get them into some 3rd and long situations that we could get after the quarterback, which we did late in the 3rd and into the 4th quarter once the score made it to where they couldn't just run it every single play. I'm happy with our players. And I'm happy, anytime that you win the game, guys played good. It's typical kind of FIU. It's the running back of the week. Tonight it was Devontae Price had some really big plays, catching the ball out of the backfield, running the ball. James was very good with the ball today again. I mean, he was under a little bit of duress from time to time. He got hit a couple of times, but he stands in the pocket and he takes the hits and he can deliver the throws, and we ended up getting some big plays. So it was a good win, and glad to get that one over with.
Coach, you talked a lot this year about how young your team is and how
Yeah.
much playing. How much of a game like this is just the team learning how to win?
Yeah.
Learning how to persevere?
Yeah, this whole season, and this game being one of them, I mean, it is. You have to learn how to win. I mean, we replaced 8 starters on defense. And, and we've had to play a lot of guys, just simply because of the number of plays and everything. So a lot of guys in secondary, we're playing 7 or 8 guys that didn't hardly play any at all last year. So it is, you hope that every single game that you play, that your whole football team, there's history behind each of these games, and you hope that your kids learn that, okay, when this happens, and we just talked in the locker room, one of the things that a young football team, you can't wait until halftime, and you can't wait until Sunday to make corrections, okay? That there's got to be tinkering with every single part of the game plan, every single possession. You can't wait till halftime and waste 2 or 3 possessions of figuring out they showed some new blitzes tonight that we had never seen. And so we had to make some corrections. So we need to get that done between possessions 2 and 3 and 3 and 4 and not wait till halftime to try to get it done. Same thing on defense. If they've got some personnel groupings and some plays, we can't wait to get it on the chalkboard. We got to try to fix it. And that's part of growing up, and that's part of kind of learning that in between possessions is critical. Listen to the coaches. Listen to what they're telling you to do. Don't try to think too much. Just do what the corrections are.
Coach, coming into this week, the team was in first place of the conference East Division. How much was it to keep them kind of on task with
Yeah.
ahead and not look too far ahead?
Yeah, that's, and we started that idea, to be honest with you, a year ago. And that whole idea is always about, it's never about the opponent. I could care less. We talk about it all the time. We want to practice and prepare as if the New England Patriots are showing up on Saturday afternoon. It doesn't matter who they are. We want to play the best that we can. And if you do that, then it doesn't really matter whether you're first place, last place, whatever it is, it's the next game. And show up and prepare to play the best you can. Because as a coach, you can't ask your kids to play better than they are or be more experienced than they are. All you could do is just say, look, this is where we are. here's the bar, play to that. Next week, the bar may be a little bit higher, play up to that as you get more experience.
Anytime during this week, you guys are getting prepared. Do you see this game as a trap game per se? You guys have everything in the game, and Rice literally has
Yeah.
nothing to lose.
You know what? To be honest with you, I'd like to say that we don't. I can't tell you what's between the kids' ears. I know that what the coaches in my presentation on Tuesday, when we have our very first team meeting, I always make a 5 to 10 minute presentation about the opponent. And I'm a big believer that you don't cry wolf, okay? You don't come in here and you try to tell people that Arkansas Pine Bluff is the new Green Bay Packers, okay? You guys better show up and play. They are who they are on the film. And we came in here, and you can ask every kid in that locker room, first words out of my mouth was that these kids are going to show up and they're going to play their butt off. They got a new coaching staff. They're trying to set their culture, their environment, and they are going to play hard. And to be honest with you, I thought just if you didn't look at the scoreboard, if you just looked at how they played and some of the things, if you looked at everything, you'd say, I thought, and I told Mike this, I said, you guys probably should be 3-4, maybe 4-3, that they played that well, but self-inflicted, throw an interception, self-inflicted, give up a big touchdown like they did tonight, and they don't do some of those things, and their record would definitely be different. And so we just, our whole culture with our players is we never lie to them. We tell them this is who they are, and this is a great player, this is an average player, this is a super player, this guy's just okay. I mean, we don't try to create anything that's different when we're trying to propose to them.
Coach, what was it like catching up with him good?
Say what?
What was it like catching up with him good?
Awesome. You know, I mean, a first-year head coach in any program should be unbelievably honored to have somebody like that as the leader of your football team. Not only was he a great player and he was a great leader, I mean, he showed up on Saturdays and, I mean, he literally put the team on his back. I mean, from the throws that he made, the scrambles that he made, the runs that he made, and you know, I mean, he was unbelievable. And to have him come back, you know, we've had several guys. Anthony Wentz come back already from the Jets during their open date, and you know, we had Anthony Gator was here the other day. But having Alex come back, and he fit in. He sat in the meetings all week long. He was out on the field stretching with the quarterbacks afterwards, and just like he'd almost never left. And that's the family atmosphere that we want to create, that every kid that graduates and leaves this program, they are going to always be welcome back.
Coach, the fact that you have the big playability, Alexander's long run.
Yeah.
Milk it at the end there with that touchdown run by James. Can you just expand on that?
The touchdown run.
Well, the fact that you were able to both quick strike scores and
Yeah.
also the fact that you can drive it and
Yeah, well, at the end, I mean, they were getting worn down. I mean, they had been on the field. You know, we were on the field defensively a lot in the first half, and then it kind of flipped the time of on the field. And you knew that, you know, if you just kept kind of grinding it and running the ball, you'd have some success. And then getting the ball to the perimeter, you know, Maurice Alexander. I mean, that kid's obviously he's electric. He's got great speed, and that's a really, really good addition to our team, flipping him to the wide receiver position and getting Shamar Thornton back. I mean, what a great catch he made. I mean, if you guys remember, if you covered us in our games last year, when we lost Thomas Owens and we lost Julian Williams, we lost our two starting wide receivers in the middle of the season, and puppies came in. Bryce Singleton and Shamir Thornton came in, and they were young. And by the end of the season, last 2-3 games of the season, I think in the UMass game, one of them had 3 touchdowns and the other one had 2. And we start the season and don't have either one of those guys. And so it's good getting them back because it really helps, you know, to get some, you know, playmaker guys and keep fresh guys in the game. And, you know, C.J. Wharton is playing really good. I mean, Aubrey Hill has done just an excellent job of taking these guys and getting them to play. And here's one of the benchmarks that I think that kind of defines receivers. Everybody loves to catch the ball, and everybody wants to touch it. Are you going to be willing to be like a guy in the NBA? How well do you play when you don't have the ball? Whether you're blocking or you're running a route and you know, hey, all I'm doing is clearing out for somebody else. And Aubrey's done a great job with these kids. I mean, they're really trying to become complete players.
Coach, how is Anthony Jones?
Yeah, I mean, if you've come to practice or whatever, you've seen him. He's doing all the individual drills. He was in shoulder pads and helmets. And again, you know, I don't know the timeline specifically and everything. I know it's day by day, week by week, and one of these days you'll see him playing under the lights. I don't know when that day is going to be. The doctors, they reevaluate him every single Monday, the start of the week, and they say, okay, 2 weeks ago he could go out in a T-shirt and run and do things. Then last week it was a helmet and shoulder pads, and now is he going to get a chance to maybe get into some non-contact drill? I don't know. You know, I'm not a doctor, but I know that they're taking good care of him. I know he's anxious to come back and start making a contribution to the team.
Coach, I was looking at the stat line, and I noticed that Devontae Price and Napoleon Maxwell got the majority of the carries, and Sean Darius.
Yeah. He tweaked his ankle. If you watch the game, he came out and he was limping one time, and you know, we're pretty cautious about putting guys back into games if they've got like a little bit. If you've got depth at that position, why risk it? You know, if we only had 2 running backs, he'd have probably had to go back in. But Napoleon and Devontae were able to go in and finish the game for him and stuff. And you just don't want you don't want a kid that's got a little bit of a minor injury to take a hit that becomes then a big injury, and now you lose them for 2 games.
Coach, real quick, I want to ask you about a series of plays in the second quarter. You missed Maloney. Morgan missed Maloney in the end zone. 2 plays later, you dial it right back up and hit Maloney in the end zone. How much faith does that show not only in Morgan but yourself and Coach Rishkowski as far as Morgan's development as a player to go right back to him?
Yeah. You know, I think we have a lot of confidence in James, and you know, I mean, you know, he's got you got to admit, this kid's got an arm. I mean, this kid can throw. There's not a throw on the field that he can't make. And, you know, sometimes the throw could be a little bit off because maybe he was on his back foot because there maybe was a little bit of pressure in his face and stuff. And it's like, you know what, hey, we'll fix the protection. We'll get the back to stop the blitzer a little bit quicker and give James that same opportunity. And you give him some opportunities, he's gonna put a lot of them in the eye throw. Yeah, no, he got like a little bit of a stinger and stuff like that, but he came back in and played in the second half, and he did good. I mean, and I'm proud of him as a young freshman coming in. You know, I mean, he is tough, he's strong, he's physical. I mean, the upside for him. I mean, we're playing a lot of freshmen. I mean, you look at check the boxes of these young freshman guys that are playing and stuff, and they're going to have a heck of a future. You know. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Appreciate it.